Today I'm going to show you how to install a wheel bearing on a front wheel drive car. This is on a G35, but every car is pretty much the same. You're going to need a slide hammer, of course, a socket set, and the wheel bearing. I got this at Advanced Auto Parts, but any auto parts store will work. The slide hammer is like the most important part. But other than that, how do you know you need a wheel bearing? Well, it's going to be pretty obvious. It's going to be like a grinding sound from the front tires when you're turning or just going down the road, especially during the highway. So make sure to jack up your car, guys. Very important. You know, your life is top priority. So you see me here just putting the jack stands up on the frame rails. Make sure not to put them on like the plastic body. Then I'm just taking out the wheels right here. And once I take out the wheels, I also like to, slide them under the car. I got this from Chris Fix. Shout out to him. Very, important, guys. Then I'm just taking out the two caliper bolts. So I'm taking off the brake caliper. They're just two, I think 17 millimeter bolts. And then I'm just unbolting the brake line because you have to take the brake out of the way in order to take the rotor out and access the wheel bearing. Pretty self-explanatory. This was just a 12 millimeter. And make sure to hang the brake caliper. Very important. You don't want to damage those brake lines. If they do snap, that's just going to be a lot more work for you. Just make sure you hang them and keep those brake lines safe. Just like that. I recommend these S clamps. I got them from like Amazon. Then I'm just going to undo the rotor. Then I'm just going to undo the rotor. And then this is the wheel bearing here. Pretty, rusty. So definitely like the cause of the issue here. This is the brand new wheel bearing. You can see it's kind of like making that grinding sound. It was way worse when I was driving it. So this is going to be like a really good upgrade. It's going to kind of drive like new after this. But yeah, if you can hear this new wheel bearing, there's basically no sound. Now there's 4 bolts holding the wheel bearing on the back. You have to take them out or the wheel bearing won't come out with the slide hammer. So it's just 4 bolts. I think they're like 22 millimeter. Every car is basically the same. Some have 5, some have 3, mine have 4. Most of them, they do have 4, but they're just 4 bolts on the back. Also, make sure to unplug the ABS sensor. It's just one 10 millimeter bolt and it'll just come right out. Make sure to do that before you undo the wheel bearing. So I'm going to be unboxing this Maddox wheel bearing set. I got it from Harbor Freight. It has everything you need to take out wheel bearings. It's a slide hammer. This is very important. You really can't get the bearing out without this because it is kind of rusted on there. It's just put on the adapter that came with it, like the little claw. Put it onto your old hub and just bolt it on with some extra lug nuts you have lying around. And once they're bolted on, now what you want to do is just screw in the slide hammer, the most important part, and then you just got to slide it out. So this is me, just one whack and it came out. It's that easy, guys.
One shot and it came out. Wow.
That's me reacting to it coming out in one try. I was pretty happy. I don't know why shops charge $800 for this. Upwards of $800. It's crazy. But yeah, real quick, I'm going to go grab anti-seize. I use copper anti-seize. This just helps it so the wheel bearing is not going to rust weld onto the knuckle. So the next time you go to replace one, if you have to, it's not going to be a struggle and it comes out pretty easy like it just did. So I'm just going to put some anti-seize on it. Just be pretty generous with this. Don't put too much, but also not too little. Okay, now I'm just going to take the dust shield and line it up with the wheel bearing hub. And I'm going to start putting the bolts, the 4 bolts that were behind through. So it just makes it easier to line everything up. and the wheel bearing will just slide right in. just like so. And what's insane, you kind of just hand tighten it, and I like to hand tighten all 4 of them and then torque them down to spec. Each car will have a different spec. If you can't get a torque wrench, just get it as hard as you can on there. But as you can see, I'm just putting in the bolts from the back. This is just bolting on the wheel bearing back onto the knuckle. Pretty simple. Like I said, I just hand tighten them and then I go in with the torque wrench and torque it down. Also, don't forget to reinstall the ABS sensor on the wheel bearing. It's just, you put it right in and there's a 10mm holding it in. Alrighty, and next we're going to put the rotor. This was kind of annoying because it was kind of heavy, but I got it in. Alright, and now it's in. And after that, you're going to want to put on your brakes, but since I had a spacer on my car, I decided to put the spacer on first. This is a step that most cars won't have unless you do have some wheel spacers on there. But yeah, I'm just putting these on, and then the next step is gonna be putting on the brake caliper. Okay, and for the brake caliper, what you want to do is just shimmy it on the rotor, and then once you get it on there, it shouldn't be too hard. You're gonna grab the 2 caliper bolts that hold it onto the rotor, and you're just gonna bolt them in by hand first. I just like to put them in by hand tighten them so the caliper stays in place, and then I take my wrench and I tighten them all the way. And also torque to spec. Each vehicle has a different torque spec. I think mine was like 100 foot-pounds, but this is me just tightening them down. Pretty self-explanatory. So as you can see, guys, the wheel bearing isn't so hard. Most of these front wheel cars, it's just the same process. The slide hammer is going to make it so much easier, especially if you have a car, from up north that tends to be a little more rusty. It's really going to help you out in that case. And now just putting on the wheel. And that's how to install a wheel bearing on a front wheel drive car. You can see this old wheel bearing was super rusty, definitely needed to be replaced. But it's super simple, guys. I know you guys can do it. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.